All right, hello everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today to learn about library resources that can support your child's learning this fall. Turn my video back on really quick. Hi, I'm Maggie Kilman, the Lifelong Learning Manager here at the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. I am so pleased that you guys could be here with us today. So I have just a few quick housekeeping reminders before we get started. One, please keep yourself on mute unless you are speaking. Feel free to post questions and reactions in the chat as they come to you. This program is here for you, so we want to make sure that we're answering your questions. So please don't feel shy about asking whatever's on your mind. After the session is over, I will be sharing out the recording from the session as well as a few other sessions that we've had this week intended for parents and caregivers heading into the fall, as well as a survey. Your feedback is very important to us, so if you can just take a few moments to fill that out when it comes, we'll really appreciate it. And then finally, the session is being recorded and will be posted publicly after the program, so just want to make sure everyone's aware. Without further ado, I will mute myself and hand it over to Mandy Beecroft, who is our Senior Children's Librarian at the Groesbeck Branch Library, as well as Kate Newmark-Weisshahn, the Teen Librarian at our Deer Park Branch Library. Thank you, Mandy and Kate.
All right, can you hear us?
All right. Hello? All right, I'll just turn on my video real quick to say hello. I'm Mandy Beecroft. I'm the Children's Librarian at Groesbeck, and I think Kate's going to get us started today.
Hi, everybody. I am Kate. Just showing my face really fast. I am going to get us started. So we're talking about research databases and homework help, etc. for kids. We've actually got a lot. I know it can be kind of overwhelming because you don't always know what everything is called or what it is. So we're going to go ahead and show you some of that today. So I'm going to stop my video here so we don't lose us again. And I'm just going to go through, and what we're both going to do is we'll talk about some of the databases. We'll also sort of go through and show you where to find some of the ones that we think might be most used. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Homework Help Now, which is an online tutoring. It's honestly pretty amazing service that I think not a lot of people know about. So it'll be good to show this. Let me just get my screen share going here. All right. Hopefully everyone can see my screen here.
Yep, you're good.
Okay, great. Thank you. So this is our new website. Yay! And I know it's kind of overwhelming to have all new stuff, but I promise it's amazing. So here's our new website. So in order to get there to Homework Help Now, and I'll explain a little bit more about what it is when we get in because it'll be easier to do it that way. Go to your research databases, and as you can see, now we have it set up by age, by area of interest, etc. So for here, we're just going to go into for kids, education, and right here, Homework Help Now. Okay, so this is BrainFuse's Homework Help Now. It's amazing. As you can see up here, we have tutors available every day from 12 p.m. to 11 p.m. or 12, good Lord, 2 p.m. They've actually extended those hours. They used to start a bit later. And what's really great about this is that you actually have live folks here to help you with homework, with tutoring. There's a writing lab. Now, the only thing is, for tutoring, you don't technically have to make an account. It used to make you. But for, you know, the writing lab, or if you want to keep recordings of your old tutoring, then you do have to log in. So just as an example, when you click on live tutoring, it just started. So if I do 3rd grade math and you click get live help, it pops up with this amazing system, and they set you up with a tutor, and they've got this whiteboard. They have, you can type equations in here. As you can see, they're really friendly. I'm just going to go ahead and great. So this poor person, you know. And then the cool part is that if you do log in, it'll actually keep. Thank you. It'll actually keep a recording of your tutoring. So I'm just going to go back. And again, that's here, education, homework help now. We have a language lab for language learners, writing lab for writing assistants. And what's cool there is you can actually send in like your essay and get it checked out, get it edited, have someone read it over for you. It's just a really good resource, especially if there's something that you're struggling to, you know, have your kid understand. Maybe they could get a little help right from your house. All right, Mandy, I don't know if you had anything to add about that, but.
I think that covers it pretty well.
All right.
All right, I will take a turn sharing my screen now.
We have one question in chat that's asking, are the tutors local or national? Do you guys know the answer to that?
I actually don't know the answer to that.
I believe they're national.
I
know they go through, they all have to go through background checks. They all have to have a bachelor's degree and some degree of experience, either through tutoring or as an educator. So yeah, I know they're pretty well vetted, but I think they do from all over the nation.
Yeah, I know that they, I don't know, I believe they are national, but I do know that they have a lot of, again, yeah, vetting, just like experienced tutors.
It's not
helping
just
out
anybody.
there. Yep, it's not just anybody. I've used them for help with kids before, set them up in the library after school when our homework helper was otherwise occupied, and they're great. Plus, then you can go back and look at the videos of tutoring you've already done. So if you forget something, easy.
Okay, can everyone see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So again, I'm just looking at all databases for kids, as you can see up here, research databases for kids. And all the categories here. Some of our databases extend through multiple categories. So you're gonna often see the same things over and over again. So Explora is a big one that falls under lots of categories. I'm going to focus right now on Galen Context Elementary Edition, which can be found under current events, education, history, science and nature, and social studies, because it covers just about everything. So I'm just gonna click on current events here and pull it up. And this one here, Galen Context Elementary. So you'll click on that. And keep in mind, if you're doing this from home, at this point in clicking it, I believe it's going to ask for your library card and your PIN to log in. Since it is a resource, you need access to the library to get. It's not asking me that because I am in the library right now, but if you're doing this from home, just be aware that you'll want to have your library card ready with you in order to put that information in. If you're ever unsure of your PIN, you can always give us a call and we can reset it for you too. So that's not a problem. So this is Galen Context, the Elementary Edition. As you can see, you can kind of break it down by topics, news articles, pictures, videos. And if you scroll down here, it's going to show us lots of different topics. So if you're looking for something a little more general, you can just kind of fish through that way. There's this search option right up here where you can type in a search. And for example, I'm going to search for Jupiter. Let's just look that up. And it automatically comes up with a list of options that fall into that category that are kind of common searches. So I'm just going to click on Jupiter. And we're going to see all the information that Gale Context offers. So it's going to break it down. Here it'll have kind of a general overview, like an encyclopedic entry that you would find on a particular topic. And you can just click on Keep Reading to look at the whole kind of encyclopedic article. It's called a book article in this particular database. And you can see up here it has levels as well. So I believe when you click on it, it defaults to the lowest reading level, which is going to be level 1 for the most part. But it goes all the way up to level 5, depending on what you're looking at. So you can look up information about Gale. If you go to their help section, it'll break down for you what all those levels mean. But to give you a general idea, level 1 is going to be around first grade, level 2 around 3rd to 5th, level 3 around 6th to 8th, and then level 4 is going to be high school. There is a level 5 as well, which has a Lexile number of 1501 and up, which is just after high school. That could probably be more like the college level or advanced high school students. So I'm going to go back here to see the search results. I'm going to get out of this encyclopedic entry so you can see all the different types of things that come up when I do a search for a specific topic. So if you scroll down here, it has a few quick facts, and these tend to be really simple things for the younger students. Here under book articles, again, you can see those encyclopedic entries that we just looked at, and it tells you the source of them as well. And if you click on this more book articles here, it's going to bring up a lot more options for you. And again, those are going to be kind of the broad overviews of your particular topic. But you can see the more advanced levels here. So there's level 1, a couple for level 2. The 4 dots is level 4. The 5 dots is level 5. So as you get more advanced, you're going to see a lot more in-depth information about it. So for example, it might just say, Jupiter is a gas planet in level 1, and then, kind of break it down into where it is, how far away it is, all of that when you get to more advanced levels. Another nice option, especially for the younger kids here, you can click on this listen icon, and it's actually going to read off the page to you. So you can hear it as well as read it. And it is, that kind of Alexa-like computer robot type of voice, but nonetheless it does help. And then you can always go in to listen to a specific sentence or something, or if you just want to hear how a particular word is pronounced, you can do that as well. A few other options it gives you citation links. So I'm going to go back and show you some other things as well here. So all of those articles, all of the magazine articles, all of the pictures, everything you can cite as well. Back one more step here. So news articles, again, it's going to tell you where it's coming from. Magazine articles, and it tells you what their source is. So for the news articles, most of them seem to be coming from places like CNN, USA Today. Magazine articles tend to be more kid-focused magazines, so places like National Geographic Kids, Cricket, Junior Scholastic, things like that. And then they'll have suggested related topics here as well. So there's the pictures and related topics. So you can search just general planets or solar system if you kind of want to get more of a broad overview. And again, the sound on and off options, so you can read through. Browse topics is, just kind of back at the beginning when you're searching for, I want to look for specific plants, I want to look for animals, you can browse the topics that way. The search history is going to show you what you were looking up before. So if I get into Jupiter, and then from there I get into, Jupiter's moons, and from there I get into Galileo or something like that, then I can go through my search history and go back to see what I've looked at. There's also this really nice highlights and notes option here. So I'm going to go back in and kind of show you, for example, what it's going to do. So if I go back into the general entry, and let's say I'm reading through it, and I decide that there's something that I want more information on. So the Great Red Spot, for example, I want to remind myself to go back and research things specifically about the Great Red Spot. So I am going to just click on this here to highlight it. And you can choose what color you want to highlight it. So let's just say I want to highlight it yellow. I didn't get the G in there, but you get the idea. And then I'm going to leave myself a little note, look up here, and I'm going to save it. And then anytime I come to this article, I'm going to see it. If I decide that I want to download this article to print it off, if you do download, it's actually going to give you a PDF of the article that you can very easily print. And I'm not sure if you're seeing, can you see the PDF article I'm looking at right now?
Yep.
Okay, good. So then I scroll down here, and you can see in this PDF article, it actually includes what I highlighted, and it includes the note at the bottom. So, you know, any notes that you take, any other articles that you look up that you want to kind of reference just for yourself back and forth, if you download that PDF article, then you're going to be able to see all of that information as well. And then at the very bottom here, again, is the citation. That is very easy to just kind of copy and paste right into your research paper. It has MLA, APA, and Chicago. So I think if it's like when I was growing up, most, I think, school students are probably starting with MLA, and that's the one it defaults to. So that's a good place to get started. And just one other note, similar to Gale in Context, the elementary edition. So Gale in Context publishes lots of different databases. So I'm going to go back here and show you one other. That is also a Gale database. So it's going to have a very similar feel. If you're kind of getting used to Gale in Context Elementary, I don't think this one is going to be any harder for you to use because it's laid out the same way. But that's Biography and Context is what it's called. So it's another Gale database, but it's because I feel like every year we have a certain time of year, a big batch of kids will come in and they all need biographies on specific people. So this biographies database is a good resource for that, especially because if you go into the library, oftentimes a whole biography of that specific person isn't readily available, whereas this has a lot more options that you can access right away. And also for those of you who are learning from home and hesitant to, you know, bring your kids out or anything, this is a good option to still have access to that. So you can, it's the same feel. You can search for a specific person. You can also browse for people. And if you do this, let's see, person search is what I wanted to do, excuse me, not browse. Because it gives you some really good options because oftentimes, for example, February rolls around and people have to do a biography on an African-American person, for example, and they want to choose, you know, a female African-American scientist, but maybe they don't know the name of one off the top of their head. So if you go into this people or person search, you can actually narrow it down that way. So let's say I specifically want to find a biography on a woman. So I'll choose female. Ethnicity, let's say I want to select African American. You can even fill in occupation. I'm just going to say scientist as an example. It gives you lots of other options, and you don't have to narrow it down among all of them. You don't have to select a place of birth or, you know, a date of birth or anything like that. I'm just going to do search. And I was very surprised when I was playing around with this, how many options it actually comes up with. And this one is actually not focusing on scientists, so let me go back and select that again. But you can see it has all the different people alphabetized, what their occupation is, and you can kind of narrow it down from there and select a person to read about them. So let me try that again. And I believe when you select occupation, it's actually gonna give you an option. There we go. If you wait a moment, it'll give you that drop down option and then it'll show up here. So I apologize, I didn't click on that appropriately, but you click on scientist and then it'll narrow it down and you will only be seeing female African-American scientists. And then you can click on each individual name to learn more about them. You can see specifically what they are. You know, if it's not just scientists, we have aerospace engineers, health services administrators, all sorts of different science fields. All right, and that's all I've got for Galen Context. So back to you, Kate, if you want to go through novelists.
All right. So hold on a sec. My badge is caught up in my headphone. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about novelist K through 8 specifically. We have, let's see here. Let me just get. All right, can you see it again?
Yep, you're good.
All right, great. So we're back, you know, research databases for kids. I went to Books and Reading because what Novelist is, it's actually one of my very favorite databases that we have, and I use it a lot with parents. This is Novelist K through 8 plus, and it's fantastic. Let's make it bigger. Okay. So basically what this is it's a recommended reading database almost. So, you know, every time you come into the library and you're like, help, my kid only wants to read Percy Jackson. As we also love to help you, of course, but maybe the youth librarian isn't there. Maybe you have someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with that specific genre, or maybe you just want to find it yourself, or your kiddo wants to find it themselves. So let's say, this is my section right here, teenagers, but let's say, and you can see like over here, we've got fiction, nonfiction, teen, ages 9 to 12 and ages 0 to 8. So let's say we're looking at I Feel. And as you can see, they have things separated into all kinds of pretty amazing categories. So I feel silly for ages 0 to 8. And if you, hello, now I wait for it. There we go. And so then it'll give, you know, recommended reading for I feel silly, all of these things. And let's say that your kid really does only want to read Percy Jackson. So Percy Jackson. Oh, look, here's Percy Jackson series right here. So search there. And now I wait again. My internet's a little slow at the moment. Sorry about that. And so here's The Lightning Thief. And you can look and see Rita likes. And this is the best part. So here's all the Rita likes for Percy Jackson. And the best part is it'll tell you exactly why. So if what you like about Percy Jackson is that it's an adventure series in contemporary reality, et cetera, then you'd like that. So depending on what you or your kiddo actually likes about the series, or you can do it by author as well, then this is a good way to sort of figure it out. And then you can also, let's see, this is my funny and angst filled. Okay, so let's go to ages 9 to 12. And we're doing amusing and whimsical. So The Key of Lost Things. I clicked on that. And you say, oh, I know I love this book. Let's search for more. And then it has a list of sort of genres and topics that are in this book. So what I really like about this is I like that it is a twin brother and sister, in that it's ability diverse characters, and that it's whimsical. And then it'll sort of tailor these read-alikes to that want. And you can sort of keep falling down the rabbit hole, I'm sure you can imagine. You know, keep clicking on them. And it'll tell you for each book the like Lexile level and the accelerated reader level. And of course, if you click on that, it'll give you information on each Lexile, et cetera, et cetera. So you can read reviews. I actually love this book. And more about this book. It'll give you all the information you need here. Lists and articles. Now this is cool also because it'll like show you which lists this would fall onto. So quarantine reads, solve the puzzle, challenging reads, contemporary mysteries, award winners. And when you look at the advanced search, you can search by more, of course. If you're really inclined, you can search by Dewey, but I'm pretty sure that most people who are not librarians are not especially inclined to do that. Unless you want to, which is also fine. Here's subjects. Abandoned children, Ethiopia. So you see, it goes really in depth. I mean, there's not a lot of places you can go in and say, I specifically want children's books for ages 9 to 12 about abandoned children in Ethiopia. So it's pretty cool that it gets this, you know, specific. And you can click specific grade levels as well. The author's cultural identity, if you know there's an assignment where I have to find a book by a Black British author. Okay, great. I can do that pretty easily. Now here's another thing. Oh, let's see. Yep, so it'll keep your search history. And that's pretty great because if you do fall down the rabbit hole, you know, it's easy to find your way back. And since this is K through 8 plus, they'd also have an adult one, but this is specifically for kids. Now they have these up here also. Sorry, there's a phone ringing. How do I find books by grade level? Print, save, or share my results? Browse by award winners. Oh, I really want to find Coretta Scott King books. Okay. And it'll just tell you all of that in the year. And then up here, we also have this section that says, especially for working with youth. And this is good, probably for folks that are, you know, homeschooling, doing the work with kids at home information. So you can say, you know, tell me more about diverse books. And then what pops up is articles and lists, which sort of helps you find, see, here we are. So then here's a full text. Why about, you know, about Jewish characters of color? And then you've got all of this here. Let's go back. Featured content for older kids. Lists and articles, homeschooling in the time of COVID. And it just has information, articles for parents, articles for teachers, articles for parents who are teachers, and just gives you this information as well. Now you can also narrow things down, of course. So let's say for fans of the Babysitters Club, you know, and it just has popular stuff here. Or if I do a search for dogs. Oh, nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay, well, that was an accident. Let's try again. title, series. Okay, so let's do a keyword search for dogs. And you can see, if you're like, I really don't want anything published before a certain time. Oh, let's do 1990, update results. Okay, now you have that. Feel good. Character, spunky. So really, you can narrow these down with pretty much everything you can think of, and it's pretty amazing. So especially if you have, you know, a kid that's really picky about, you know, certain things they want to read. This is a good way to maybe help them expand what they're looking at. You also have series read-alikes, and this little button here has a check the library catalog button. And it'll show it to you in the library catalog here. Now, I think this is actually our old catalog, but it still is pretty easy to find this way. And if it has that down here, that's what you're doing. I think that is about it, unless anyone has anything else. I think that's everything I've got to say about Novelist here.
All right, I will take over again here. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
All right, so just a couple more databases that we wanted to touch on. We obviously don't have time to go in depth on absolutely all of them, but a few others that might be worth at least mentioning. Explora, which I remember showing you before, that it appears in just about every single category. Explora is not quite as user-friendly from a kid's perspective, I don't think, as something like Galen Context Elementary. But once you start to get more advanced, once you're more used to searching databases, I think this is a great tool to get a little bit more in depth. So again, you can narrow it down by topic here, arts and literature, biography, and it gives you some suggested searches and everything. So I'm just going to click on, I'm just going to go into Toni Morrison here. And then it also has the search box at the top where you can type in a specific topic that you're looking for. So you can see the layout's a little bit different. So it has everything kind of mixed in together. It doesn't break it down by, you know, newspaper article and book article and magazine like it does in Galen Context. But you can see what it is over here that you're looking at. So it shows you you've got a periodical here, and it'll tell you if it's full text. So HTML full text just means you're basically going to see it as a website on the computer, and PDF is going to open in Adobe. So it's going to be a separate PDF. It has all these limiters over here, so it always defaults to limit it full text, which is good. If you don't limit it to full text, then you'll be finding things where you can't actually see the whole article. You're only going to get like an abstract, kind of a summary of the article. So definitely leave it as full text when you're doing this. And then if you specifically need something from academic journals, so that's probably going to be more advanced high school to college age, where they're going to be required to have, you know, peer-reviewed academic journals or something like that. It does also include on some of these, I've noticed it doesn't show up on all of them, but it'll have a Lexile level for some of the articles, which is going to appear, and you can see it here, reading level, and it has 1180 here. So if you click on that, again, it's going to give you that chart kind of telling you what the Lexile levels are and recommended ages for those Lexile levels. And you can also narrow it down here. So it has kind of the basic search options. You can even do by publication date if you're looking for something more recent. Or if you click on this show more option, then you can also narrow it down by a specific month and year publication date. It has this Lexile reading level where you can limit it to grades K through 2, grades 3 through 4, that kind of thing. So you can look for the simpler things for the younger grades. But again, this is one of those databases. It's really good if you're doing some advanced research. The younger kids will still be able to find some good information in here, but it might require a lot more hands-on help from the parents. Another one that's worth mentioning, I think, is opposing viewpoints. So I'm just going to go back to our website here.
If we have time today, we've got a question in chat asking if there's an online resource for learning a foreign language.
Oh, of course. And I can address that in just a moment here. There's also this sort databases A through Z option. So if you know which database you're looking for, you can always click on that. And I know I'm specifically looking for the database opposing viewpoint. I'm going to click on the O here and scroll down to opposing viewpoints and context. So this is another one of those scale databases, those scale and context ones. So the layout's going to look familiar, but this we find a lot of high schoolers come in and they have to do a research paper, you know, for example, with gun ownership rights or censorship and other sorts of social and political issues that are kind of hot button topics, and they have to research both points of view. So that's what this particular database is really good at. So you can kind of browse if you don't know what you want to search for, and it shows, you know, some areas of interest, activism. You scroll down a little farther and it has all the different issues. So government spending, standardized testing, and it has all the pros and cons broken down by, you know, opinion pieces, news articles, things like that. So it's a really good resource for getting a good feel for both sides of the argument without, you know, having to worry as much if you're reading very biased resources, because it pulls from just about everywhere. For language, let me go back to our resources here. Okay, I'm gonna look, let's see, I haven't searched for it in our new website yet, so hopefully I can pull it up pretty quickly. I'm gonna search by areas of interest here and see what comes up.
It's under lifelong learning, I believe.
Lifelong learning, okay. Language learning, okay, yeah, so you can, I think, language learning as well. And then lifelong learning is another good resource, especially for older students and adults, I think. So Signing Savvy specifically for American Sign Language. Transparent Language Online here, so it'll give you a list of all the different languages that you can search through. And I know we had another one for a while, but we may have dropped it. Let me go back to lifelong learning and see if those are the only options.
I believe it got replaced with the transparent language.
Transparent one, okay. All right, thank you. Yeah, so we'll just click in Transparent Language Online here, and then it'll allow you to choose what language you want to learn, and they tend to all start pretty simple, and you'll be able to actually hear the words spoken by, you know, native speakers and everything to help you with your pronunciation and things like that. Oh, and it looks like I already signed up at some point. So it's going to have you create an account, whether you're at home or in the library. You actually have to create an account, so it will track how far along you are in all the different languages. And you can learn more than one at a time. It doesn't limit you. So, you know, you could be on level 1 for Spanish and, you know, level 6 already for French or something like that. Let's see. Let me get through this here so I can actually show you things. Oh, here we go. Continue. And whether you've done this before, apparently, or you're logging in for the first time, it's going to make you go through all of these terms of service and, you know, all the legal stuff. Okay, here we go. So then it gives you, it shows you where you left off in your last lesson, and you can click on Learn to keep going. Welcome is just kind of the basic overview and vocab, and then it'll have the, unit 1 for hello, unit 2 for organizing a trip if you're traveling to the country. So it'll give you that option to jump in earlier on or tell you where you left off, so you can just kind of keep going. So you can do like a little, 15-minute segment every day if you want to. And you can set a goal for how much time you want to spend on it a day. So if you're doing this with your child, for example, you can say you want them to spend 30 minutes learning Spanish a day, and we can set that goal, and then it'll show you how close they are to that goal being met each day. And up here you can see all the different languages. So Nepali, Italian. It has a very broad range of languages to choose from. So it has the basics as well as, Scottish Gaelic is in there, and Zulu is in there, and all sorts of options.
A friend of mine for a little while was using it to learn Nahuatl, which was the language that the Aztecs spoke.
Oh, that's fun. All right. And
There's also, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, there's also, so those little sections like Spanish has Kids Speak available, for example. So if you click on Spanish, any of the ones that say Kids Speak available, and just click any of them, doesn't matter. This is an example. Give that a sec. Okay, so if you, oh good Lord.
I can close out that, sorry.
So if, I'm sorry.
Okay, here we go.
So click on Kids Speak there, and you're about to see something pretty crazy. Yeah, so it's this whole like interactive, fun thing where some of them, if you have real littles or kids that just respond better to this sort of thing, yeah, so it can, some of them have this Kids Speak and some don't, but
We also have a question in chat about e-audiobooks. Are you guys going to cover that?
yes,
coming up? Cool.
I can actually jump on that right now if you're good with that, Mandy.
Yep, I'm all set.
Yeah, so this Kids Speak, it seems frozen, but it's hilarious if you click on it. I accidentally clicked on it one time and it scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, it got really loud all of a sudden.
It does. It has this little like boppy tune, but yeah. All right, so let's see here. Go back to CincinnatiLibrary.org. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Yes. Okay. So I'm just going to talk really briefly about some of our e-reading options because I want to let you guys ask some other questions, although I guess we're sort of answering them as we go. Anyway, I'll address this books and e-readers right here. Books, ebooks, e-audiobooks, etc. That's not what I meant to do at all though, so just pretend I didn't do that. Research databases, books and reading under kids here. And then, come on. Sorry, my mouse is sticking a little bit. Here we go. All right, so we've got a few options. We have Overdrive for kids. Just open that in a new tab. I'm gonna open them all in a new tab actually, just to make life easy here. So this is Overdrive for kids. So this is the Overdrive, if any of you have done, ebooks or audiobooks on your own, this is that, but it's specifically kids stuff. So there's like different collections, virtual learning, exploring STEAM at home, here's Hidden Figures, and it gives you the Lexile measure and the text difficulty, etc. And then you can borrow it. I'm actually logged in just to make browsing this easier. So there's ebooks. They do also have e-audiobooks. So let's just And since this is the kids section, you know, it's all going to be kids stuff. So you can also search here by like subject, format. So if you wanted audiobook specifically, great. Different languages. Say I want a Newbery Honor book that's an audiobook. Lower grades. Okay, and here they are, all of my audiobooks. And you can see if they're available, they'll be up here, say available. If they're waitlisted, you can still place a hold. So here's the Frog and Toad audio collection, and it tells you the wait time here as well. The plus side is, you know, there's a lot of stuff you can get. You might also like this. I love Kevin Hankey's, you know, so I'm gonna borrow this for 21 days. I'll return it after, I promise. And then you can download it or listen to it in the browser. So there's that, and it'll give you like different subjects. So beginning reader, you know, so a lot of those easy books that you see in the library branches are gonna be this stuff. So if you know that your kid really likes that I can read one, you know that that's a good level for them, then you can find those here. So next is Bookflix, and it's really fun, honestly. I know you can't hear it, but give me a sec. So it's noisy. Oh gosh, it's talking to me. Okay, so what's really cool about this is that since it's Scholastic, it'll yeah, I'm sorry, it's talking to me every time. So you can click on one of these, and then what's cool is you can say watch the story. Read along or don't read along. You can do word match, you can do explore the web, and then it'll, okay, keep his dream alive. Let's close that. So lastly, we've got Tumble Books. Honestly, Bookflix is just super fun. And you can, you know, do Spanish, et cetera, imagination. Fact or fiction? Read the sentence below. Is it fact or fiction? You cannot see gravity. Fact. Good job. So that sort of thing. And then Tumble Books, sort of, I know a lot of teachers use it to just sort of like expand their library almost. It means you can, they even have graphic novels, which is really cool. They have read-alongs. These are all just options for you to sort of get this stuff in your house, even if you can't get to the library, or let's see, Discovery of America, Geronimo Stilton, read online, and then you can just read it. And it tells you, of course, all of this information here. Quizzes, you can do quizzes, book report. What's your name? Kate. And it sort of helps you, you know, create that. That's most of our reading stuff for kiddos. There's a lot of it.
Someone had a question about specifically looking for books about trucks for their 3-year-old. Could one of y'all show how to find those either in Overdrive or I don't know if Bookflix has stuff that's good for kids that young.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, Bookflix does have some of this. So like here's trucks. and you click on watch the story. So a lot of this is like younger scholastic stuff, and what's you can see this one's an alphabet book, truck book, you know, I stink and garbage trucks.
And then there's the option along the side there too. If you just want to read the book, that's in the column on the left there. And
yep, you can just read the book, of course. If it ever loads, there we go. You can just read the book. The garbage truck is a big machine, and it has this information here, which is fun. Overdrive, let's see here. I know they do have, let's see, picture book fiction. I know they do have like younger, you know, like picture books available. Pre-kindergarten, here we are, text difficulty, pre-kindergarten. And then this will have, you know, some of this information here, or if you did a search for trucks, and then text difficulty, pre-kindergarten, it'll show you, here's Thomas, read a sample or borrow it. I'm not gonna borrow it because then it'll think I want trucks for the rest of my life. There we go.
Contrary to what you might think, picture books are harder to convert to an ebook format than normal books, just because they're not formatted that way. So there are fewer of those e-resources available in the Overdrive catalog, but they are there. Yeah, this person in chat is saying they've checked out books on Overdrive, but they're often on waitlist. Yeah, that is probably why. And that's a good note that we can pass along to our acquisition specialists for youth services. We've been investing a lot more in our ebooks and audiobooks this year. So we can certainly pass along the request for more picture books as well. If you guys don't know, we also have a great app that pairs with Overdrive that's super easy to use if your kids have like tablets for school. Libby is a really nice app. There's also a few others like Hoopla. Do you guys have a minute to show off how to find Hoopla? And are there any other good ones that we have? I'm trying to think just on the top of my head.
I use Libby and Hoopla all the time on my phone.
Mm-hmm. Hoopla is cool because it's a different licensing model than what we get with Overdrive. So Overdrive is a little more traditional. You know, the publishers license us a certain number of copies for a book, and then you've got 20 checkouts at a time. Whereas with Hoopla, it's more of an open license on the materials. So anything available in the Hoopla catalog is always available to you. There's no limits on how many people can check out a certain item at the same time. However, you're limited to, I'm not sure what our limits are here. It's like 5, 10, 15 checkouts per month. So that's how they kind of manage their licensing model there. Asking to explain the difference between Libby and Overdrive. So Libby actually is Overdrive. It's just their newer app that is more updated and user-friendly. So
it is much more user-friendly. You don't have to deal with the where did my holds go problem that we run into a lot with visitors here.
Or how do I sync my checkouts across my devices? Libby just does it. It's so easy. So Libby hooks you directly into the Overdrive catalog. That's the only difference. It's called Libby powered by Overdrive.
Yeah. And I just brought up the Hoopla site real quick just so you can see. You will have to create an email address and password so you have your own login, and you'll have your library card and everything that you'll put in there as well. But yeah, it's a great resource. It has music, it has movies, documentaries, some audiobooks, and you can see kind of the list down here.
Yeah,
I
Hoopla really shines with comic books. They've got a great comic book collection, and their like native comic book readers are really cool. You can view comic books panel by panel instead
It's
of just, like,
amazing. They
page
go
by
through like
page.
the bubbles, etc.
Yeah, yeah, super cool.
Highly
Okay.
recommend signing up for Hoopla because, you know, there's not a wait, which is pretty great. I actually, oh, here we go. Actually, I have mine called up. Let me show you. Give me a sec. Yes or no? You can see everything I borrowed. But here's the you know, books, let's see if I can, let's see. So just as an FYI, like this is what it looks like when you go through the panels. It's pretty amazing, you know, so.
Yeah. And we're viewing this in a browser right now, but it's
Yep.
really nice in an app on a phone
Yes,
or
it
a
is.
tablet. Okay, does anybody have any other questions about either e-resources or just like library services right now?
And here is mine and Kate's information as well, just in case you think of any questions at the end that you didn't have a chance to ask. You're of course welcome to email us or stop in. And our branches are open right now. It's for limited service, so only a certain number of people can come in the building at a time. But you are more than welcome to call us as well, or call any of your local librarians. And we can always put together collections for you if you prefer hard copy books as well. So you could always just call us and say, you know, you have a third grader who's interested in books about fish, for example, and say you want like, you know, 10 books on fish for a third grader. You're always more than welcome to call us and we can put together a collection for you as well. And then we're also currently offering free printouts and copies through the library as well. If you ever have to print off an assignment or anything like that, you have the option of coming in and doing that here as well.
I actually love putting together collections for people. So please call us and say,
Yeah,
I need books.
seriously. All right, any questions?
Nope. Well, if we have no further questions right now. Oh, one more. Any in-person classes coming up? That depends on what you are looking for in specifically. Are you asking about like programs for children or like classes for adults, computer classes? Because we have a variety of different things, programs for kids. That will depend on your local branch. We do have some outdoor programs that are going on right now. Mostly they're programs for kids because it's very, very hard to offer virtual programs for kids online. So some of our branches have been able to resume offering some outside programs. So I would encourage you just to check our calendar. You can search by either your local library branch, or if you're willing to travel a little bit, you can search by age group to learn more. And I will drop a link in chat right here so you can find our calendar very easily. It's brand new along with the rest of our website, and it's very easy to search either by zip code or age group, topic, and very easy to sign up as well. So take a look at that. Call your local library if you have any more questions. And otherwise, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you very much, Mandy and Kate, for putting this presentation together. Really appreciate y'all's time today.
Oh, of course. And
Thanks,
thank you all
everyone,
for coming, and we hope
coming,
to
yeah.
see you or hear from you.
Yep.